there, Sue Wilson back again today with a lovely Christmas video for you. I've used some very untraditional colors in today's card, but some really traditional techniques for you. We're going to be doing some letter pressing later on. The dies that we'll be using in today's episode are the Debossed Snowflake from the Festive Collection, as well as the regular snowflake family, and the Peace on Earth sentiment set for us. Okay, so let's get started. First thing, I have taken and covered a piece of clear acetate with a self-adhesive sticky sheet. So let me just bring in a piece of copy paper. We're going to be using our mica flakes for this. These come in an assortment of colors, but this is the marshmallow. It's absolutely beautiful, I think. So I'm going to just peel back the backing on this. Let me get it started. There we go. Okay. And I've got a few air bubbles, but don't worry about that. It won't show when we're all finished. So just peel that back and dust it a bit with the mica flakes. Now, mica is a natural product, so you will get a few of these that are a little bit dark, and if they bother you, you can pick them out. Like that one right there is a tiny bit dark, so I might take that one out of the way. There we go. Move it all around. Absolutely gorgeous. Get all your corners there, and of course you can tap off all your extra. And then I like to do a good rubbing down and take off all the extra bits. You don't need it to be too thick, so you can certainly remove some of the excess layers there so you save your product. Okay, give it a good tap. Let's get these back into the container. There we go. Put our lid on. Now, since they're irregular shaped, you might want to use your scissors and just nip away the edge bits, but look how pretty that is. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, because you've sandwiched it between the acetate, what you also want to do is glue a piece of backing onto it so you can hide mounting foam and things behind it. I've already gone ahead and done one, so we'll put that to the side, clear up our little mess here. And I've cut some of the snowflakes from our Festive Collection. I've gone ahead and put them on. I've got one more left to do here, and I've used the same snowflake all the way around rather than a mixture, but you could certainly do it any way you please. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here, and I'm just going to pop it on. And I like to have the snowflakes kind of coming off the edge. I just think it's a little bit more natural of a look. Pop that into place, get that on there, and then I'm just going to trim the extra bit off with my scissors. Okay. Give that a second to set up, and we'll go ahead and put it onto our base that we've created. A little bit of mounting foam, just to raise it for some dimension. You know how I love the dimension on the cards. Okay. Center that right in the middle. There we go. Give that a second to set up. Set that aside. Now I'm going to show you the deboss that we're going to be doing. So I've got a piece of white card here. I'm using the Adirondack Lights Shell Pink, and now this is a pigment ink that I'm going to be using for this technique. Okay, let me get my die handy, and I'm going to use a brayer for this. So using the deboss ring in this, what I'm going to do is take the brayer, ink it up really nicely, and to ink it on your pad, what you want to do is just keep rolling it until you get a nice even coverage. So it'll take you a fair bit just to get it nice and coated. Okay, and then I'm going to, let's put a piece of copy paper under there so it's not quite so messy. I'm going to roll that across there, and you leave a little bit of your snowflake on there, so you want to re-ink it each time. Get a nice even coverage. There we go. Let me just make sure I've got all my area covered there. One more pass. There we go. Okay. Now, you do want to make sure that you wipe all your ink off, and I'll take care of that after the video. Set that to the side and get this all ready to go. So what I want to do is take my tan mat, get it ready, put my paper on there, get a hold of this and try and hold it so you're not touching any of that inked area. pop it down, and I'm not going to bother with any of the cutting edges at this time. I'm just going to pop that right down into place, pick that up and run it through. The ink from the die should transfer onto our card and give a really pretty debossed image. Now it's a very pale pink, but you can see how gorgeous that is. Isn't that lovely? So you can hit it with a heat tool, dry it off, then use your cutting rings to actually cut it inside and out so you have a really pretty frame like that. Love the way that looks. So let's set that aside. And I've already added a bit of mounting foam onto this one. So we will bring back our card here. And I've stamped my sentiment. Now this actually is part of the sentiment set, and it comes in a line, and I've just cut it and mounted it top and bottom because you can do that. So I've got a piece of self-adhesive sticky sheet, just large enough to cover that. Pop that over the top there. And then I'm going to take the edge of that. Oh, let's try this side. Just get it started. There we go. Okay, I'll bring back my paper there, and I'm going to be using the diamond sprinkles. This is part of our glitter jewels from Cosmic Shimmer. I'm going to coat that. There we go. Give it a nice glittery finish. Ooh, put that back in there so we don't waste it. Okay. And I'm going to seat my frame over the top of that. So I've already got some mounting foam put on the back here. Let me just peel off the backing. And one more. And because I've got a glittered finish there, don't forget you do need to add a bit of extra glue. Otherwise the sticky from the mounting foam will pop right off the glitter. There we go. Just center that right over the top. That looks very nice. I'm going to give that just a second there so it sticks. And then we'll take our scissors and trim away the extra bit. Just kind of go along underneath it. Angle your scissors outward. There we go. All the way around there. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a really pretty sentiment there. We'll bring back our base card here, and I think I'll just glue that on top of there. And pop that into place right in between all of our pretty snowflakes. That looks lovely. Give that a second to set up. And I'm going to finish it off with a bow that I've tied out of white seam binding. I put a little crystal sparkler in the middle, but you could actually even add a snowflake if you like. So we'll put that on with a glue dot. Get that right there. I'm just going to seat that down to the side here. We'll fluff that bow up a little bit. And I've made a couple of these pretty stick pins from our new stick pins collections with the matching beads and the pearls. So I'm going to just put the tips of those stick pins into that bow and the sparkler area. There, pop that into place. And we'll finish that off. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So easy. And I love the way that letterpress just sets off that snowflake pattern. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit different from a Christmas card, kind of a sort of a look, but I think it's absolutely elegant.